To reduce flooding, protect water quality, and restore native habitats, stormwater managers rely on a series of best management practices, sometimes referred to as stormwater control measures, stormwater management practices, or green infrastructure. These practices are generally designed to do one of three things: restore natural landscapes, mimic natural landscapes, or change behavior to address the source of an issue. Welcome to Chesapeake Stormwater Network's Stormwater BMP Video Series, where we break down the terminology and context around common best management practices and how they connect to the health of the Chesapeake Bay. When precipitation falls on buildings and paved surfaces, also known as impervious surfaces, water can run off quickly instead of soaking into the ground. Much of this untreated runoff will flow from impervious surfaces into tributaries and streams, eventually reaching larger rivers such as the Patapsco or Potomac, and ultimately the Chesapeake Bay. One simple but powerful stormwater BMP, or best management practice, is runoff disconnection. Runoff disconnection is a stormwater management practice that redirects runoff, typically from rooftops or paved surfaces, to pervious, porous surfaces, where it can soak into the ground. When rain falls on buildings and rooftops, downspouts often direct the water onto paved, impervious surfaces, which does not allow the precipitation to slow down and infiltrate. Downspouts may also connect directly to pipes in the ground, connecting stormwater straight to storm drains. Runoff disconnection typically involves redirecting precipitation from roofs, sidewalks, or small paved areas away from storm drains and onto lawns, conservation areas, or other permeable surfaces. This helps slow runoff, reduce erosion, and improve water quality. Runoff disconnection works by intercepting, infiltrating, filtering, treating, or reusing runoff. It can take two different forms. Simple disconnection directs stormwater to pervious areas with compacted cover designation, such as residential lawns or turf, conservation areas with natural cover designation, or to a soil compost amended filter path. Another form of runoff disconnection is disconnection leading to an alternative retention practice, which uses less space than simple disconnection. These alternative retention practices include downspouts to gardens, dry wells or cisterns, French drains, and rain barrels. In many communities, this runoff drains directly into nearby waterways like the Anacostia River in D.C. or James River in Virginia, carrying pollution downstream. Key elements of runoff disconnection include a stable outlet, such as a splash block or level spreader, an adequate vegetated receiving area, gentle slopes, and sufficient distance from building foundations. In simple disconnection, lawn or landscaped areas receiving sheet flow should remain stable and well vegetated, with no signs of erosion, soil compaction, or excessive wear from uses such as frequent foot traffic, walking paths, or playground activity. When disconnection leads to an alternative retention practice, runoff may also be directed to features such as stormwater planters, French drains, or small-scale rain gardens that help capture, store, or infiltrate water. Rain barrels, cisterns, or rain tanks may also be utilized, which allow for storage and reuse. Together, these features allow runoff to spread out, slow down, and infiltrate safely. It is important to note that simple disconnection requires more space than disconnection to alternative practices because they have lower infiltration rates and/or less available vertical storage. Both types of disconnection are applicable to residential scale projects or small commercial rooftops. However, larger areas with more impervious surfaces should use other forms of BMPs. When inspecting runoff disconnection, confirm that runoff is flowing away from structures and spreading evenly across pervious areas. Look for signs of erosion, ponding, or flow concentrating towards paved surfaces or storm drains. At a residential property, this could look like downspouts directing water onto lawns or garden beds where it spreads out and soaks in, with no erosion or standing water. In a commercial area or parking lot, this could look like runoff flowing to landscaped areas or swales where it disperses and infiltrates, rather than concentrating towards storm drains. When installed on residential properties, homeowners should be educated on maintenance needs. Agreements should also be reached between the homeowner and the local authorities for specific responsibilities for maintenance and repair. Maintenance needs of runoff disconnection practices include checking discharge points for erosion or soil compaction that can limit infiltration, and ensuring the receiving area has adequate vegetation and length to slow water before it reaches impervious surfaces or waterways. In areas with compacted soils, runoff disconnection may require soil amendments, such as adding compost or other organic matter, to improve soil structure and increase infiltration capacity. Seasonally, check for debris buildup, such as leaf litter, pollen, sediment, or grass clippings that could block flow paths or reduce infiltration. Good examples of runoff disconnection show evenly distributed sheet flow, healthy vegetation, and no signs of erosion. Water infiltrates into the soil rather than rushing into storm drains. When properly functioning, runoff disconnection reduces stormwater volume, lowers peak flows, and supports groundwater recharge, all while requiring minimal infrastructure. In more constrained environments, such as dense urban areas, commercial corridors, or parking lots, runoff disconnection can be enhanced through curb cuts, amended soils, or integration with landscaping and green infrastructure. Another option at some sites is to create opportunities for disconnection by removing existing impervious surfaces like parking lots or driveways and replacing them with pervious alternatives. Impervious surface removal is another stormwater practice that can complement runoff disconnection. While runoff disconnection redirects water from impervious surfaces to nearby pervious areas, impervious surface removal reduces runoff by removing hard surfaces such as asphalt or concrete and replacing them with vegetation or permeable materials. Because both practices manage runoff from impervious areas, they are sometimes confused. But impervious surface removal specifically focuses on reducing the amount of impervious cover. They can be used in tandem. For example, when pavement is removed and the area is converted to landscaping that receives redirected runoff. These strategies help maximize infiltration, even in urban settings. When properly designed and maintained, runoff disconnection plays a critical role in reducing pollution, protecting local streams, rivers, and restoring the Chesapeake Bay. Interested in learning more about stormwater best management practices? Please visit the Chesapeake Stormwater Network at www.chesapeakestormwater.org and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the full BMP video series, along with resources, webinars, and training opportunities.